is used, that means your case has definitely been resolved and you no longer need to stay on the call today. This is a public forum, so you're welcome to stay and listen. Certainly won't be permitted to participate, but you're certainly invited to stay and listen. However, if your case is resolved, you're welcome to go on and resume doing whatever you would normally do on a Tuesday afternoon. Again, thank you for your participation. We will begin with the board introducing itself as well as the other panelists. And after that, we will call on the law department to give us a list of cases that have been resolved or continued. Again, I'm Kenneth Woodson, board chair.
Ralph Pincus, board member.
Steve Pettit, board member.
Roger S. Tennessee, your board member.
Ken Washington, board member.
Cortez Patton, board member.
Ryan McSherry, board counsel.
Richard Reed, board administrator.
Thank you very much. Okay, the law department, who will give us a list of cases that have been resolved or there's a continuance request.
Good afternoon, board members. This is Michael Rulo, RULLO, on behalf of the city, and I'll be handling those administrative items initially.
Okay, Mr. Rulo, good afternoon. So what do you have for us?
Beginning with number 1, appeal ending 003146, 2227 Pine Street, and ADR 2227 Pine LLC. That matter can be marked moot.
Moot, thank you.
Number 2, appeal ending 002251, 801 Schuylkill Avenue. The appellant is a John Premiano. That was withdrawn by the appellant.
Withdrawn, thank you.
Moving to number 4, appeal ending 003335, 9727 Chapel Road, and Ariana Gizanafar. Pardon if I'm mispronouncing that. It can be marked moot complied.
Moot complied, thank you very much.
Moving to number 5, appeal ending 003458, 1728 Dallas Street. Appellant is a Tanira Winrow. That can be marked moot complied.
Moot complied, thank you.
Moving to number 6, appeal ending 003233, 340 West Woodland Street, a Nwambawane Okafor. That matter can be marked moot complied.
Moot complied, thank you.
Moving to number 7, appeal ending 003300, 9406 Cruisman Road, Nwambawane Okafor. That matter can also be marked moot complied.
Moot complied, thank you.
Moving to number 12, appeal ending 003518, 1013 North 63rd Street, a Michael and Crystal Rock. That matter can be marked moot complied.
Moot complied, thank you.
Moving to number 13, appeal ending 002773, 8 Oregon Avenue, and the appellant is Merco Real Estate. My understanding is that has been continued by agreement.
Continued by, I know this continued request. So is anyone here representing the appellant?
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair. My name is Augusta O'Neill. I'm the attorney for Americo.
Okay.
And board, this is Caroline Curley. I'm the attorney for the city on this matter.
Okay, this is agreed upon continuance request of both appeals?
That's correct.
Okay.
As to number 13.
Yes.
Just number 13.
Oh, just number 13. Okay, so
yes, I think Mr. Rulo was about to get to number 14 and was going to indicate to the board that that appeal is moot, but I can read it in if that's what the board would prefer.
Yeah, before you get to number 13, I'm sorry, number 14. Number 13 is continued based via request and agreement between the parties. Okay, so let's go to number 14. If you would, whoever, either you or Mr. Rulo, whoever.
Yeah, I'll do it. Number 14, appeal number HA 2022-003150, 8 Oregon Avenue, Americo Real Estate. That matter is moot.
Moot. Okay, thank you so much.
All right,
That
I'll turn it
resolves that
back
matter.
to Mr. Rulo.
Okay, thank you, Ms. O'Neill.
Thank you. Moving to number 16, appeal ending 003-239, 421 to 23 DuPont Street, appellant of Victor Diner. That matter can be marked moot.
Moot. Thank you.
Moving to number 17, appeal ending 002-845, 4043 Lancaster Avenue, LFC Incorporated. That matter can be marked moot complied.
Moot compliant. Thank you so much.
Moving to number 21, 003-282, 249 West Duval Street, appellant Cynthia Masi. That matter can be marked moot complied.
Moot compliant. Thank you.
Moving to number 23, appeal ending 003-311, 6204 Tacoma Street. Appellants are Victor and Victoria Perez. That matter, it's my understanding, was the appeal was withdrawn by the appellant.
Withdrawn. Thank you.
Moving to number 24, appeal ending 003-326, 1248 Day Street. Appellant is Elisa Plitnick. That matter can be marked moot complied.
Moot compliant. Thank you.
Moving to number 26, appeal ending 003-342, 5928 West Oxford Street. The appellant is a William Bosket. That matter can be marked moot complied.
Moot compliant. Thank you.
Moving to number 27, appeal ending 002-371, 165 West Seymour Street. Appellant is a Knick-Knack Interiors LLC. That matter is moot complied.
Moot compliant. Thank you.
Moving to number 29, appeal ending 003-487, a 6646 North Smedley Street. Appellant is Michael Feinberg. That matter can be marked moot complied.
Moot compliant. Thank you.
Moving to number 33, appeal ending 003-340, 1111 South Broad Street, a TVC PA 1111 Broad Street LLC. That matter can be marked moot.
Moot. Thank you.
Moving to number 34, appeal ending 003-264, 5326 North Sydenham. The appellant is a Sean Morrison. The site violation notice that underlies that appeal was withdrawn by the department.
So we should note it as being withdrawn, or it's just moot.
The violation was withdrawn.
So it's a moot matter for the appeal is moot.
Correct.
Okay, so we noted as moot.
Moving
Thank
to number 36, appeal ending 003-261, 208 Welland Street. Appeal is a Biva Nassam. That matter can be marked moot complied.
Moot compliant. Thank you.
Moving to number 38, appeal ending 004-943, a 780 South 2nd Street, a Bride of Franken Simmons LLC. That appeal was withdrawn by the appellant.
Withdrawn. Thank you. Okay. Does anyone else have anything from the law department regarding today's list of cases?
I believe, and I would turn this to Mr. Johnson, on number 31, I believe that there was a continuance request, but I'm not sure if that was granted or not.
Okay, Mr. Johnson?
Yeah, the owner of the property, Ms. Struthers, had requested the continuance because they're not available. I understand that Margaret Struthers is at a funeral for a departed relative and is unavailable for today's hearing. The city does not oppose a continuance. Again, this is number 31 with regard to 1250 South 45th Street.
Correct. Yeah, in the executive session, we granted that request. So that matter should be noted as continued.
Thank you.
Does anyone else have anything?
Caroline Curley for the city. I did want to raise just a couple issues for the board. Number 30, that's HA 2022-003339 at 737 Walnut Street. That is a Sarah Investment LLC. We did have email exchanges with that LLC and they indicated they were not represented by counsel. I don't know if they're here. I
Okay,
don't see anyone.
there's someone waving a hand. Andy is noted. Would you unmute that individual, please? Unless he can do it himself. Andy, if you can unmute, would you unmute yourself, please? Yes, there you go. Sir, identify
Hi,
yourself.
everyone. Yeah, my name is Andy Al Talibi. I'm speaking for Sarah Investments regarding
you-
the seven.
Before you go any further, are you an attorney, sir?
No, I'm not, sir.
Okay.
But we believe we addressed the appeal on the 2 days after we received the notice, and we provided all the supporting documents. We corrected everything.
Okay, before you give testimony, someone from your company, your organization should contact the inspector to request a reinspection. That may have resolved this matter. We cannot hear you today. If you have to come back to this hearing, you need an attorney to represent you because you're a corporation. Understood?
But sir,
So-
we submitted the appeal with the supporting, and we did contact also the people who issue the notice for us. So
Okay.
we don't know what else to do here to close it.
Well, you need to call someone and at the department. Today's hearing, though, we cannot hear your appeal because one, you need an attorney to represent you as an LLC. Secondly, so you need to go hire an attorney. But in the meantime, you should do your best to connect with the department. Now, Ms. Curley, are you able to facilitate that conversation with the inspection?
They do not need another inspection because this was a site violation notice, so there's no re-inspection. It's simply a violation for a found violation and
Okay.
simply a fine.
Okay.
But
So
if they want to have a conversation with me prior to their next appeal, they are certainly welcome to do that. I think they have my contact information.
Andy, if you have
I'm
the
sorry.
contact, call Ms. Curley.
Can you? I'm sorry. Can I have that contact, please?
It's in the emails that we've already exchanged.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yep.
And your name one more time, please.
Last name Curley. It's on the screen.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll communicate.
Okay.
So what we
sounds
will
good.
do today is that we will continue this matter today.
Yes, please. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. And please note the record that it's being continued for lack of counsel. And that may resolve itself if it's recalled. Thank you. And so, sir, Mr. Andy, if you have to come back again, make sure you have a lawyer representing you.
Is this the first listing of this appeal?
It is board. Yes.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, Ms. Reinhardt?
Oh, sorry, I have one more. Sorry.
Oh, you do? Okay.
My number 28, I did see a message in the chat. And I'm sorry, that is appeal number HA 2022-003323 at 134 West Lurie Street. The owner is Mr. Hector Diaz, I believe. I did see in the chat that a request for an interpreter was made.
The board, I don't believe, has that request for an interpreter.
Yeah, I wasn't aware of it either. It seems to be the first time. I'm not even sure what language. I just saw it in the chat, so I wanted to highlight it.
When was that submitted?
Like 2 minutes ago,
Okay. That's
Or-
timely.
20 minutes ago. Yeah, 20 minutes ago, I think.
Okay, well, we have a bigger problem.
Can I speak?
Who's speaking?
My name is Bedita Cadillo. I'm the expediter that applied for the owner itself.
Just
Okay,
wanted for the record that Ms. Cadillo is driving and she is not an attorney and she is not the owner.
okay, Ms. Padilla, you can't speak until you pull over and stop.
Okay,
And secondly,
the owner is also on the line, sir. But he don't
Okay.
speak language.
okay, now, Ms. Padilla, you have come before us before, so you know the rules. If you need an expediter, you need to do that as soon as you learn. You can't ask for an expediter the day of the hearing. It
No,
doesn't work
I'm the
that way.
expediter, sir.
No, Miss Bell, I'm sorry, an interpreter. If you need an interpreter, you can't do that the day of the hearing. It has to be done in a timely fashion. And so he can't hear this case today. The second thing is that this case is a year and a half late being filed. And so it's unlikely we're going to hear it at all because it's not timely filed. But what I will do for today, I will continue this matter to give an opportunity for the appellant to make an argument. But for today, it's going to be continued. Please explain
Okay,
that to the.
we should be, I explained and we should be completed by the next case.
Well, okay, but your appeal won't, well, anyway, we will make a request. We will continue the matter and we will try to get an interpreter to be present when the case is called again. Understood?
Thank you.
Okay. All right,
Mr. Chair,
so-
did you make it clear that she or the owner has to request the interpreter?
Yes, I did that initially. That was my first statement.
I just
Right,
want to
thank-
make sure that
thank you,
the
sir.
language is Spanish. I don't want to make any assumptions.
Okay, Miss
It's Spanish,
Cadillo,
yes.
Spanish? Okay. You can't do it the day of. It has to be done several days, if not a week or so in advance.
Okay.
Okay, so for HA-2022-003323, 134 West Lurie Street will be continued. And we will
Thank you.
request an interpreter. The other matter, please note that it's a timeliness issue, so that will be dealt with initially. We may not hear the case because it's untimely filed. Okay, thank you. I think I see Ms. Reinhardt's hand.
Mr. Chair, before we proceed, I'm looking at a window that shows a Tynera Winlow, it looks like, or Winrow, who appears to be driving. And, you know, our requirement is that if you're going to be participating in the hearings, that you need to be parked and not in motion. It's dangerous.
Yes.
Can I
Ms.
speak?
No,
yes,
no. You
Oh.
ask the question, the answer is no. Listen to me.
Okay.
If you're going to be part of us, you have to be parked. If you're going to be
I
on
am
screen.
parked. I'm
Listen to
sitting
me.
in the
I'm not
driver's-
finishing. Ma'am, you're allowing me to complete my statement. Understood? Wait until I finish. If you're going to be part of us, you have to be part. If your screen is going to be on, we cannot watch you drive. That's not healthy or safe for anyone. So please do that. Park. If you're going to have your screen on, if your case is called, you need to be parked in a safe place or we will not hear your case. There's something you wanted to add?
No,
Mr.
something
Chair,
I do
Mr.
want to
Chair,
say.
Before you do that,
Yeah.
that's case number 5. And I have that's listed as moot complied.
Yeah,
Yes. Okay. All right. So you don't need
I
to
mean,
be on. Your case is
Right.
resolved.
right. But I'm not driving those. I want to let you know that as well. I'm sitting in the driver's seat. I'm not driving.
Okay. It was moving. It appeared to be moving to us. That's why we made the statement.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Okay. Ms. Reinhardt, did we still, do you have any more issues for us?
Thank you. I would like to put an agreement on the record. This is number 32.
32.
Appeal number HA 2022-003. Oh no, 298. This is for 4844 A Street. We have an agreement that was forwarded to the board this afternoon to mark it city affirmed with a 60-day stay of enforcement.
Okay. 60-day stay of enforcement. Thank you. With regard to HA-2022-003298, 4844 A Street, Ali Nasser Mashhaqi, and I'm messing that up, MASHAQBEH. City firm with a 60-day stay of enforcement per agreement between the parties.
City affirmed with a 60-day stay of enforcement per agreement of the parties.
City affirmed with a 60-day stay of enforcement per the agreement of both parties.
60-day stay of enforcement per agreement of both parties.
City affirmed per the agreement, 60-day stay of enforcement.
Thank you very much. Okay, Ms. Reinhardt, do you have anything else for us?
Thank you. That was it.
Okay, Mr. Johnson.
Good afternoon, board. I just wanted to bring the board's attention to number 37 on the list.
Okay,
And this is an appeal HA 2022-003235 for 2551 to 53 West Silver Street. Latasha Turner, doing business as RL Property Group LLC. I believe the responsible party, the owner, is an LLC in this case. I know Ms. Turner has appeared on the Zoom, but as customary, I believe the board would require an attorney to represent the LLC.
Yes, is Ms. Turner present?
Yes,
Okay, ma'am, what is your relationship to this property?
I had purchased it last year in May. I'm the owner.
Okay, and the corporate ownership is with an LLC?
Yes,
Okay, you need an attorney to represent your interests at the board.
okay,
Okay, so we can't hear this today, so we'll have to continue it.
all right.
Okay, before you move on to Mr. Johnson, are there any health safety issues involved here?
I don't believe so.
Okay, all right, thank you. So HA 2022-003235, 2551-53 West Silver Street will be continued. And ma'am, when it's relisted, please have an attorney present to represent your interests. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay, I think Mr. Rulo.
Yes, good afternoon again. I had a few items regarding LLCs without attorneys to direct to the board's attention.
Yeah.
Beginning with numbers 9 and 10, which have the same listed appellant, Ruslan Nikan. Number 9 ends 002836 and concerns 2407 North Hancock Street. Number 10 is 002838 and concerns 1302 North 18th Street. Both of those properties involve an LLC as the owner. For the former, it is a Venta LLC, and for the latter, it is a REKR LLC. And there is no listed attorney. It is also my understanding that this was previously listed and that this issue of no attorney was raised.
Okay, is anyone present representing that at those two addresses? 2407 North Hancock or 1302 North 18th Street? Anyone present? Anyone present?
Service
Okay.
made.
Service is made in both cases, Mr. Wade?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Rulo, what is your preference?
The city would request that these be marked a city affirmed failure to appear.
Okay. Mr. Pincus, would you give me a time, please?
1:59 PM.
1:59 PM for both matters. Alrighty. I will then poll the board regarding HA 2022-002836, 2407 North Hancock Street, Ruslan Nikon, city affirmed non-appearance.
City
City
affirmed.
affirmed non-appearance. Is that for both cases, Mr.
So
Chair?
I'm calling each individually.
Okay, for the first case, city affirmed non-appearance.
City affirmed lack of appearance.
City affirmed non-appearance.
City affirmed non-appearance.
Thank you very much. Mr. Pincus, I think I should ask you for a time for the second one then, since you're doing second.
It's on my clock, it's still 1:59 PM.
Okay, 1:50, we're more efficient than I thought. We'll poll the board on HA 2022-002838, 1302 North 18th Street, Ruslan Nikon, city affirmed non-appearance.
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 Okay, thank you very much. That resolves those two matters. Mr. Rulo, do you anything else you have?
Yes, I would direct the board's attention to number 15, appeal ending 003504, 2001 Fitzwater Street. The appellant is listed as a John Borish. The owner of that property is, and then the party that was cited is a JBCB Properties LLC. So again, we have the issue of there is no attorney of record as far as I'm aware.
Okay, is Mr. John Borish present? Mr. John Borish, regarding 2001 Fitzwater Street. Anyone present representing the interest in that location? Okay,
Just
Mr. Wade,
give
was
me a
service
second.
made?
Give me
Yep.
1 second.
Okay,
Service was made.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Rulo, what's your preference?
The city would request that this be marked as city affirmed, failure to appear.
Thank you. The time, Mr. Pincus?
2:02 PM.
2:02 PM. We'll poll the board on HA-2022-003-504, 2001 Fitzwater Street. Jan Borish, B-O-R-I-S-H, city affirmed non-appearance.
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 Thank you very much. Okay. Do we have anything else?
Yes, I have one more, which is number 25, appeal ending 003522. The listed property is 1234 Market Street, and the appellant is a P&L Holdings LLC. Just as a preliminary matter, the property that was cited in that instance is listed incorrectly. It was 2301 East Albert Street. But the reason why I'm raising that is, again, we have a LLC and there is no attorney of record.
Okay, just two things. So what is the correct address?
The correct address is 2301 East Albert Street.
East, East Albert is the correct address. Okay.
No, I thought you said 1234 Market Street, Mr. Rulo.
The list that I'm looking at has it as 1234 Market Street. So yes, it would appear to be the incorrect address.
Okay. Okay, so in fact, East Albert, which is on our list, is the correct address. Okay.
Excuse me, that was what was on my list. But yes, the issue anyway is that it's an LLC and there's no attorney.
Okay, is anyone present representing the interests of 2301 East Albert Street?
I am.
And your name is?
My name's Laura Vegas. I'm the owner of the property.
You're the owner of the property? Okay, and according to our records, this property is owned by an LLC?
Right. I'm the LLC.
Okay, but we require corporate ownership to be represented by legal counsel.
I understand that. I got the rental license the day after I got the violation. So
No, ma'am. We aren't dealing with the facts of the matter. We're dealing with the issue of whether we will hear the case or not because you don't have a lawyer. So let's address that, okay?
Well, how can I get it done as complied? Because I complied with it.
Because you have to answer my question, then we can get to how other matters can be resolved. Now, you were beginning to tell me why you didn't feel you needed an attorney.
When the inspector told me that I got the license the day after I got the violation, and he told me I could just come and that it would be fine.
Okay, but you submitted an appeal. And so this is the appeal hearing. And so to be heard at this board requires an attorney if it's owned by an LLC. That's the only issue I'm trying to address at the moment.
My question is then how do I get it shown that I've complied though?
Because I can't respond to your question until you answer mine. Am I clear?
Okay.
So I'm asking you, did you understand that you need an attorney to represent you at this hearing?
I guess so, yeah.
No, it's no guessing, yes or no.
What everyone told me was that I could just.
Okay, you aren't here, you aren't responding, okay. Let's do this for a moment. Who's in the LLC with you, ma'am?
There's one other individual.
Okay, so we can't hear this matter because it requires an attorney. So you need to do that. If this case can be resolved outside of the hearing room, please do that. You should check in with the inspector or pay the fine or whatever's requested. But the hearing itself can't proceed without an attorney representing your interests.
Okay.
If I may, this,
Yes.
like a similar one that Ms. Curley mentioned earlier, this was a site violation notice, which means that there's a fine due regardless of compliance status. If the appellant would like to have their attorney or reach out to me directly, they can email me and it's michael.rulo@phila.gov and my name and spelling is displayed on the screen.
Okay.
So wait, I'm for the fine. I can't fight it. I thought that's what this was.
If you would like to reach out to me, we can discuss this there.
Ma'am, you understood?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. All right, thank you. Mr. Rulo, I've lost my place. What number was that, please? Just want to make sure.
That was number 25, appeal ending 003522.
Okay, so what we will do, we will mark it as continued. It may be resolved before it comes back, but we'll mark it. Okay. Any objections, Mr. Rulo?
No, it's being continued for lack of an attorney, just to clarify,
Yes.
correct? Yep.
That's good, yes. Okay, thank you. Anything else, Mr. Rulo?
No, that does it for me.
Okay, Mr. Christopher Johnson, you have your hand up.
Yes, I would like to bring the board's attention to the appeal of Nicole Newman. And she's
Which
appearing here
number?
today. This is number 35 on the list for 5943 Pine Street.
Yes,
I had a chance to talk to Ms. Newman, and she's agreed to ask the board to mark the case as city affirmed with a 6-month stay of enforcement.
okay. Is Ms. Newman present?
Yes.
Ms. Newman, if you're present, please unmute. Just want to put your name on the record. Nicole.
This is Miss Newman.
Okay, thank you. And you're the owner of 5943 Pine Street, correct?
Yes, I am.
Okay, thank you. Alrighty, and so that's the city affirmed with 60-day stay of enforcement? Mr. Johnson?
Yes, that sounds reasonable. Very good.
Mr. Johnson, was that, I just want to make sure.
It wasn't 60 day, it was 6 months.
Okay, wait a
Yes.
minute. I want to
Yeah.
get the lawyer.
It would be 180-day stay of enforcement.
Okay, so city affirmed 180-day stay of enforcement.
Correct.
Okay, all right, I just want to make sure I have it, I've stated it correctly. Okay, thank you. And of course, Ms. Newman, you are in agreement with that?
Yes, I am.
Okay, thank you. All righty, HA-2022-003456, 5943 Pine Street. Per agreement between the parties, the city affirmed 180-day stay of enforcement.
City affirmed 180-day stay of enforcement per agreement.
City
affirmed with 180-day stay of enforcement per the agreement.
City affirmed with 180-day stay of enforcement per the agreement.
City affirm 180-day stay of enforcement per agreement.
City affirmed per agreement, 180-day stay of enforcement.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right,
Already?
thank you.
Okay, have a good afternoon.
Thank you.
I don't see any additional hands, but the board may, I think, has 1 or 2 additional matters that we need to address before we begin. Okay, we resolved number 28, I think, on 134 West Laurie. That matter, I believe, was approved, and they will need to bring an interpreter. We need to order an interpreter for the next hearing. To make sure that's noted correctly. Number 3. Who's representing the city in this matter? That's 1833-39 South Broad Street. The appellant is RAJ.
That would be me, Christopher Johnson.
Mr. Johnson, is this matter, is there a continuance request for this?
I didn't receive a continuance request, but the city has no objection.
Okay, is anyone present representing the interest of this location? 1833-39 South Broad Street. Building permit is the matter. Okay, Mr. Wade, do we have it? When did we get this continuance request, Mr. Wade?
Just give me 1 second.
Sure.
But I did research. This was the first continuance request. I believe this appellant has been here, but on different matters. This is the first continuance request I have on this. Just give me 1 second. I can find when the request was sent.
Okay.
June 13th.
June 13th? Oh,
Yes.
wow, okay. So we have a June 13th request, Mr. Johnson. City's not opposed, so we will continue this matter.
Thank you.
Okay. Just want to check a few other things. Okay, I think that's it in terms of our preliminary administrative matters. Let's now move to the list itself. Mr. Wade, what would be our first case for today?
First case would be number 8, Hearing appeal number HA 2022-002461, 2531 North Colorado Street, Harold Cost.
Harold Cost, who's representing the city?
Good afternoon, board. This is Caroline Curley, Curley, on behalf of the city of Philadelphia.
Okay, Mr. Cost, present?
Yes, good afternoon.
Okay, Mr. Cost, would you raise your right hand so that you may be sworn, sir? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give today be the truth to help you God?
I do.
Thank you. Mr. Cost, before we begin, I just want to ask, are you the sole owner of this property?
Correct.
Okay, already. Thank you. The way we will proceed is that Ms. Curley, representing the city, will put on certain testimony with potentially a witness, after which, sir, you can put on your understanding of the facts before we vote, okay?
So,
I'm not sure if you heard Mr. Cost. Mr. Cost, did you hear me?
No, I did not.
Okay, what I said to you was that Ms. Curley will probably use a witness to put certain facts on the record. Once that's done, you may introduce your understanding of the facts before the board votes to determine an outcome for the case.
Understood.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Curley?
So board, this particular appeal pertains to multiple violations that were placed on the property at 2531 North Colorado Street for building, various things without permits. The city has also subsequently filed an action separate and apart from this violation related to the safety of the building, and we have been unable to serve Mr. Cost at the addresses we have for him. So we would ask initially that he provide a mailing address or an address for us to serve him on those matters.
Mr. Cost?
That's kind of ridiculous because I've been living here for many, many years.
So
Same
Mr. Cost, response with an address, please.
It's the same address. I've been living at 2531 North Colorado Street, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, 19132. I've been here for
Okay.
about 7.
So is your testimony on record, that's the only location where you receive U.S. postal mail?
Correct.
Okay, all right, thank you.
And this, just so the board's aware, we will be offering city exhibit, I believe it is 14. Which is a process server's affidavit indicating that that building appears to be abandoned at this point. But just so the record is clear that the appellant, the only address he is providing is 2531 North Colorado.
Okay.
The city's first witness will be Inspector Christopher Hogan.
Okay.
You be making stuff up.
Mr. Cost, just before we begin, Mr. Cost, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
You're on Zoom, so when you make comments, we can hear them. If you don't
I'm
want
glad
us to hear you,
it's ridiculous.
Mr.
It's not
Cost,
abandoned.
listen to me.
It doesn't
Listen
appear
to
to
me.
be abandoned either. I've been living here.
Mr. Cost, if we're going to get through this hearing successfully, you have to be a patient and listen and allow the person who's speaking to complete their statement before you say anything. And so I'm only saying to you that when you speak to others outside of the hearing, we can hear that, and that's disruptive to the hearing. So please don't carry on outside conversations unless you put the whole thing on mute. Understood? That's what I'm trying to tell you.
What
That's
I said
all.
was her here, and she had already said it, saying something
But-
about the building is
but-
abandoned.
But
Not
Mr.
true.
Cost, you had not been asked to comment on anything. You only respond when it's your turn to speak.
Regarding my own property?
Yes, sir. You only speak when you're called to speak in this hearing. There's a formal communication process.
Oh, I didn't get that in
Okay.
the mail. That's not what's on the letter that came in the mail.
Mr. Cost, if you want us to complete this hearing in a professional fashion, you will have to restrain yourself. If you can't do that, we will have to make a different decision. Understood?
Okay, well, how do we go about having this in a real courtroom?
Because, well, all the hearings are being held currently on Zoom because we do not have a courtroom that will accommodate in-person hearings at the moment.
Hmm.
I think it's to your advantage to work with us today.
We'll see.
But I ask you not to be disruptive. And once your hearing's done, we need you to be in one place stationary so that we can communicate with you. Ms. Curley, you said you have a witness today.
Yes, and I do just also want the record to be clear that Mr. Cost is, walking around on the street in public and is not in a
My
specific
property,
location.
2531.
So just as long as the record is clear for that.
Okay, let's do this. Let's do this. I'd like the board to join me in the breakout room before we even get started.
I am inside my property
Let's go into a breakout room, please. Okay, thank you. We're back on the record for number 8, HA-2022-002461. And we were just beginning to get the preliminary matters out of the way. We will now, Ms. Curley, you have witnesses that you want to call?
Correct. The city's first witness will be Inspector Christopher Hogan.
Okay, Mr. Hogan, are you available to be sworn? Do you swear affirm the testimony that you give today be the truth so help you God?
I do.
All right, thank you. You can place your hand down. Okay, please proceed.
And
Uh,
Inspector
Ms.
Hogan, I
Curley?
see that you're in a car. Just want to confirm for the record that you are not driving currently
No, I'm parked stationary.
safely. Great. Inspector Hogan, can you identify your employer and your position, please?
I'm a building inspector for Department of License and Inspections of Philadelphia.
Have you been able to review the department's records for the property we're talking about today, 2531 North Colorado Street?
Yes, I have.
Are you able, I'm gonna, with board's permission, I'm gonna share my screen.
Yes, please.
Okay. Scroll up. Inspector Hogan, let me know. I know this might be a bit small, but can you see what's been marked as City Exhibit 1? It's violation number 2020-081813.
Yes.
And this violation is dated November 20th, 2020. Is that correct?
Yes.
And moving down to the violations, what were the violations initially cited on this property?
The initial, there was lack of a building permit for a partial demolition of the structure. A building permit would have been required for altering, modifying the structure, and also lack of electrical and plumbing permits.
Okay. So essentially multiple multiple pieces of construction done without the appropriate permits. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Now, due to the length of time, was another initial violation notice issued to this property? Showing it as City Exhibit 2.
Yes, there was another on 5/20 of 22.
Okay.
So,
and is
year
it
and a half.
the violations that are now listed shown on the screen, are those the exact same violations that were initially listed?
They are the same, yes.
Okay. And have you had the opportunity to inspect the records of this property?
Yes.
Has any permit at any point been obtained?
No.
Okay. And board, City Exhibit 3 is just a copy of the appellant's appeal. So I'm just asking that be included in the department's record.
Okay.
Okay. Moving on to City Exhibit 4, Inspector Hogan, do you recognize this as the property we're talking about today?
Yes.
And can you describe, oh, go ahead, sorry.
I'm sorry, that picture was the, I believe the original from 2020, so it looks a little bit different, but it is the same property.
Right, yeah, 2021. Describe what we're looking at in this photograph.
Looks to be a lot of construction debris piled out front. There's some bricks and some other materials in front, and you know, just other stuff. Looks like construction's been going on, but everything's piled in front of the house.
Okay. And City Exhibit 5, this is kind of a full-length view of the same property.
Correct.
Again, construction materials in the front of the property.
Yes.
City Exhibit 6, we're now looking at a close-up of the electric meter. Is that correct?
Yes, the meter on the right would be 2531, and it
And
looks.
Yeah,
it
what does that
doesn't-
indicate to you?
The meter, let's just say, doesn't look right. It looks like there's some kind of tap going into it, or some maybe illegal electrical action going on there.
And can you describe, how do you know that?
Just the way that it's hung and the way that it's fastened. And there's another extra grounding rod and extra wire coming out of it.
Okay. Any electrical permit on record for the department for this property?
No applications at any time for an electrical permit.
Okay. City Exhibit 7, we're just a little bit backed out here. Still showing more construction, showing the electrical running into the building. Is that correct?
Well, I'm sorry, I got a call in there.
That's okay.
I'm still here. Okay, good.
So this is a City Exhibit 7, what we're looking at here. That's just a larger scale view of the construction materials and electric.
Yes.
City Exhibit 8, same time frame, just a couple months later in March of 2021. The building remains same kind of state, correct?
Correct.
Okay. City Exhibit 9, we're now moving forward in time to September 22. There appear to be even more construction materials in the front. Is that fair to say?
Yes, it's underneath in the foreground. It looks like there's either sheetrock or maybe plywood or the actual zip board that's sitting on top, but it's piled in front of the residence.
And what does a builder do with that kind of material?
If it's sheetrock, they're using it indoors. If it's plywood, it could be indoors or outdoors. If it's cement board, it could be for a bathroom. Like there's multiple. There's the next picture actually shows plywood also. But anyway, yeah, there's plenty of materials that look like they're going to be used in that house.
And the electric also remains, plugged into the city to the electric utility line.
Yes, and maybe even another wire or two coming out of it.
Okay. City Exhibit 10, yes, we've moved further down in time to October 25th, 2022. And, even more construction now. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, there's more materials. It seems like there's a generator locked up out front, more of the same, actually.
Is any of this code compliant?
We would never know because no permits were ever even applied for. So
Okay,
I
at
mean,
any point for anything in this building?
no, I believe maybe they started a process of getting a make safe permit years ago, but that nothing's ever been created or issued or.
And now moving down to City Exhibit 11. This is now dated March 24th, 2023, so more current. And what are we looking at in this photo?
There's been work done to the front of the house, the facade. The bottom, the first floor window seems to be altered into, I'm not sure. And then there's maybe a little like porch built, and there's still construction materials on the sidewalk, some cinder blocks on the sidewalk. There's a new overhang, there's a new little bit of construction above the front door. I'm not sure exactly what that is. And there seems to be more wires coming from the electrical box, from Pico's box.
And all of this, the new window, the overhang, the porch, is there any appropriate permitting, zoning, anything for this building?
No, nothing at all.
Okay. And Exhibit 12, again, March of 2023. What are we looking at here?
Yeah, it's more construction materials in the front of the house, and I don't know if this cinder block. I'm not sure actually what's under there, so I'm not going to speculate. But yeah, just I'm assuming more materials in the front of the house.
Okay. And you've had the opportunity to review the record. In addition to this case for work being done with no permits, does the department have an active unsafe case against this property?
Yes, the department has an active unsafe case that was issued actually before these violations were issued.
Okay.
I'm assuming would be going to court shortly.
Okay. And you've had the opportunity to see this building today, is that correct?
Correct.
Have any of the conditions changed?
No, it might be like less of construction material in the front, but all the same, no permits for any of the work that's been completed.
Okay. And just so the board, so it's clear for the record and the board understands, can you outline, exactly why permits are needed in cases like this?
Yeah, everything here is about the public safety. I'd be more concerned about illegal electrical running in. There's, faulty wiring. It's definitely a fire risk. And then outside of our case here, the fact that the building may be unsafe is definitely an issue. But everything's public safety. You'd hate to see somebody walk by, something fall, somebody trip over debris that's out front, whatever it may be. But it's a row house block. A fire could be devastating if it's a legal electrical run.
Okay. And board, I did just for the record to include the city's active case against Mr. Cost that was filed regarding the unsafe case pending in the Court of Common Pleas now. That complaint is included here. As I mentioned, I do have the affidavit, City Exhibit 14, which cites the process server's efforts to serve Mr. Cost at 2531 North Colorado Street, indicating that the premise appears abandoned and vacant to the process server. There were 3 attempts to serve him. No response after knocking on all 3 attempts, on April 27th of 2023, the 28th, and the 29th, indicating that there's lumber stacked on the porch and that per neighbors, the property is vacant after being rehabbed. And then I do have City Exhibit 15 indicating that the matter is scheduled on July 25th, 2023 at 9 a.m. in courtroom 243 in City Hall, just for the board's, understanding of what's going on here. So I would just ask for the admission of City Exhibits 1 through 15 at this time, and I would offer Inspector Hogan for cross.
Okay, thank you. Just one thing before we cross. Ms. Curley, is there another address that was used to transmit appeal information or notices?
Yes, board. I do believe 323 Milne Street, zip code 19144, was also affiliated with this appellant.
How are you spelling this street name?
Milne.
Okay, Milne Street. All right. It was that's an address that was used to mail certificate of correspondence?
From the city, I can't speak for the board service.
Okay.
But for the city, yes.
Okay. All right, thank you. Mr. Cost, you can unmute. Do you have any cross-examination for the inspector?
Say that again, please.
Do you have any cross-examination for the inspector?
Yes.
Okay, please ask your question.
What proof do you have that any of that stuff out front of my property is mine?
Okay.
I don't know if it's yours. It's speculation. I guess it's piled in front of your house.
So you're assuming that the stuff belongs to me because it's on city property in front of my property?
Yeah, on the porch, on the steps, on the sidewalk, yes.
I didn't see any pictures of anything on the porch, just the sidewalk where you said it was building material.
You've answered your question, sir. Any other questions?
What proof do you have that any electrical was done without any permits?
There's wires running from your electrical box.
Do you know that Pico hooked that up?
I don't know if Pico hooked that up, that they wouldn't be running extra wires from it. I know that.
Have you ever contacted Pico to see if any illegal
No, I
hookups
did
were?
not.
Objection.
Okay, so noted. He's responded. He can respond. That's okay. I think he responded and he doesn't know.
Because he mentioned that this stuff looks like it's illegally hooked up. But he
Objection.
Mr. Cost, please ask questions and then we can go on to you presenting your facts, but complete your questions first and we can go on to you presenting your case.
Okay. I have one more question. So everything that you stated here today, you have no facts or proof that any of this stuff belongs to me or any work was done that needed to have permits.
Objection.
So noted. Mr. Hogan, you can answer.
I didn't hear a question.
You don't have any facts or proof that any of the stuff that you witnessed or pictures you taken belongs to me.
Are you saying, do I have proof?
That just the stuff that I need a permit for, all the stuff that you're saying in these pictures that required a permit to do, you do not have any proof that I've done any work or any of this stuff that are in these pictures belong to me or
I'm
to
going to object.
2531.
I'm going to object again. This question of proof is a request for a legal standard, which Inspector Hogan is not, equipped to answer. We've offered pictures at this point, and his testimony is proof, but that's a legal
Okay.
question that Inspector Hogan can't answer.
Okay, let's do this. Let's do this.
Okay.
Let's do this. There's an objection on the floor, Mr. Call, so I'm going to respond to the objection. Ms. Curley, I noted your objection, but Mr. Cost, understand something. The photos that we've shown that are at the address in question shows work in progress. It doesn't, so there is obviously work that's progressing at that location, and the work that we
Then I
can see,
object.
may I finish? The work that we see that's progressing requires a permit. So if you have any further questions, sir?
That's not true.
Yes,
The stuff
well,
that you
let's
see up
proceed.
front doesn't prove that it's mine. That stuff
Okay, well,
is
okay,
public
we're gonna,
property. I don't.
you've asked your question, and so we're going to, I think there's been an appropriate response. If you have no additional questions, we're gonna ask Ms. Curley to bring on her next witness. Ms. Curley, do you have a next witness?
I have no other witness. I just brief redirect so the record is clear from Inspector
Okay.
Hogan.
All right, what's the redirect?
Inspector Hogan, based on the test, all the evidence that you've seen here today, all the photographs and all the work we've talked about, would permits be required for all the work that we've talked about today?
Yes.
Okay, I have nothing further for Inspector Hogan.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Mr. Cost, this is
I
your
do.
opportunity. Let me, Mr. Cost, be quiet. Let me speak now. Mr. Cost, this is your opportunity
I
to
object.
present your case. This is your opportunity, sir, to present your case. Please unmute Mr. Cost.
The
Mr.
only-
Cost, you can present your case. Please. Mr. Cost, I
I
don't
do
know
not
if you
need a
heard me.
permit to put those. Oh, I didn't. What'd you say?
I said, this is your
You said, is this my
opportunity.
opportunity to present my case?
Yes.
Yeah, and I object to what he just said. He
Okay,
said I need
so
a permit
noted.
for the work that
Your
was done.
your objection is overruled. Please proceed.
Talking about me, perceive?
Yes, this is your opportunity to put your facts on the record.
I do not need a permit to put those fake bricks up the front of my house and to remove the air conditioner that was in the middle of the bricks on the second floor. That's all that's been done.
Okay, what else do you have to
I
share
don't-
with us?
Yes, because everything else that you guys put,
We couldn't hear you.
My stuff.
You aren't coming through. Unfortunately, something's happening with our connectivity with you. Your statement wasn't clear. We didn't hear you.
I'm sorry, can you hear?
No, we can't hear you. We're having problems hearing you.
Can you hear me now?
That's better. So please restate the statement you made earlier because we could not hear you.
I was saying that what he was saying was inaccurate. I do not need a permit to put the fake bricks up the front of my house and to remove the air conditioner from the second floor in between the bricks.
Okay, what else do you have for us?
That none of the stuff in those pictures out front were mines. And what he said that was construction material, that was an engine from the neighbor doing work on his truck. That was bubble wrapped in between the two cinder blocks. That wasn't building material. It was a truck engine.
Okay. Okay.
And the
now-
back 2529, all those piles of construction bags when they did work there, 2529 North Carlisle Street. None of that stuff that was out front was building material that anybody used for a property.
Okay. All right, thank you.
And
We have a,
Well, also the electrical has been on legally for a while, so there are no issues with me and Pico, and nothing's been hooked up, and haven't been any plumbing or any new electrical done in this property. So I wouldn't need a permit because there hasn't been any new things installed.
Okay. Have you scheduled an interior inspection of your property
With who?
with L&I, with the inspector?
No.
Okay. When you got the violation notice, why not do that? Schedule an interior inspection.
Because nobody's coming in my property unless they have a warrant. They're not coming in here. They're assuming that things are going on. It's the burden falls on them to prove that what I'm doing. Having stuff out front, which is not mine, doesn't prove that anything's going on here. Nothing's
so,
pictures but the bricks on the front of the house.
So you don't believe it would be to your best interest to prove the inspector wrong by having an interior inspection done?
I'm being accused. Unless he has proof that anything's been done in here without a permit, that falls on him. So all that will be dismissed, no matter how long it takes. Eventually it will be dismissed because he has no proof that electrical, plumbing, or multiple other violations they have been done. Me letting you in here, I'm not obligated by law to let anybody in here. So all he can keep doing is assuming or making stories up about this is building construction materials and things of that sort, or whatever, all this stuff.
Okay. Do you have anything else, sir, you want to add?
No.
Okay. All right, Ms. Curley, do you have any closing arguments?
Just very briefly, Mr. Cost, what is your employment
Chair,
background?
I do have a question for Mr.
Okay,
Cost.
just 1 minute, Mr. Washington. Ms. Curley was in the middle of asking, then we can come to you, okay? Just for a moment. Ms. Curley?
Sorry, Mr. Cost, what's your employment background?
Like all of it or recently?
Anything, do you have any construction background?
My last job was mechanic. I worked at Fred's Farm Motors on Mount Airy Avenue.
So you're not an engineer, or you're not, familiar with construction permitting requirements?
No.
Okay,
Anything else, Ms. Curley?
that's it.
Okay, Mr. Washington?
Yes, just real quick. Good afternoon, Mr. Cost.
Good afternoon.
One of the violations on your final violation notes state the floor and ceilings are partially collapsed. Is that a true statement?
No.
Is the rear and side wall partially collapsed?
No.
Is the roof partially collapsed?
No.
So you have no violations on your property at all. That's what you are testifying to today.
No, there's violations on there. That's what we're here for.
Right, that's what I'm saying. That's what I just read off to you, some of the violations that you have.
Oh, okay. I understand what you mean. Sorry. No, I don't agree with any of the violations that I have on the property currently. No. With the electrical, plumbing, or the walls.
Roof or the side walls, any of that.
Correct. I don't agree with that.
And you're not willing to offer any proof that all that information is incorrect.
They can come out and look. They're not coming inside, but everything else is public property. You can come down.
How would they be able to determine whether your roof is collapsing from the outside? Or how would they be able to determine that your floors are not collapsing?
The alleyway behind the houses belong to the city. They can come whenever they want.
And that would prove that your floors and ceilings aren't partially collapsed by going out the back?
Oh, I don't know, but
I have no more questions, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone else have any questions? Okay, thank you. Given that we've heard testimony as well as the facts from both parties, we will call the vote on HA-2022.
Mr. Chair, I have a question, and two, I'd like to call for an executive session. The first question is,
yes,
Ms. Curley, you showed a picture that showed a cinder block wall, I believe, at the front of the property. First, there were some cinder blocks, it appears, at the end of the steps. That's the last picture. And then a prior picture showed a cinder block wall under a I don't know what you call it, a balcony or someplace. Could you put those pictures back up for a moment, please?
Yes, let me just see if I can find what you're looking for.
I think he's looking for pictures 9 through 11.
So this is City Exhibit 8. This is City Exhibit 9. City Exhibit 10. City Exhibit 11. City Exhibit 12. I think that's our most recent photo. Does
Mr.
that
Kerwin,
cover
can we go
everything?
back to number 8, please? Exhibit number 8. Are you able to enhance that? Yes, thank you. Okay, so that appears to be wood under there. Okay, thank you.
Mr. Pincus, does that give you the information you need?
Well, yes, I'd still like to have an executive
Sure,
session.
let's do that. Yes, we can do that.
Also, please note, it looks like the door is padlocked.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go in executive session and we're off the record for about
I
5
do-
minutes.
And I do
Mr.
have closing, but.
Yes,
I
we'll
can-
come back. We'll come, Mr. Cost, Ms. Curley, we will come back to you after executive session.
Just make sure I have a breakout room, Mr.
Excuse me. And Ms. Curley, so Ms. Curley, we'd like you to share your screen again and bring up those photographs. You're muted, Ms. Curley.
Yeah, sorry, I exited out of it, so you'll need to give me a minute.
Yes, okay. Alrighty. Just take a moment and then we'll go to the photographs. Just want to have a few open questions. And actually, is the inspector still with us?
I believe so.
Okay, because I think our questions initially should be directed to the inspector. Mr. Tennant? You be muted, sir.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm saying probably ought to initially direct our questions to the inspector.
That's correct.
And if you would start off, Mr. Tennant.
No problem.
We want to go to the, I think the photographs at the end of the series.
Okay, can we go back? Right, that's number 8, correct?
This is number 9.
Okay, can you go back to number 8? Okay, Inspector Hogan, if we're looking at exhibit number 8, and as Ms. Curley, prior to her moving, can you take note of the exterior facade? Are you able to see that, sir?
Yes.
Okay, Ms. Curley, can we move to number 9? And again, we see the exterior facade. Okay, it looks like it's red brick, Mr. Hogan, correct?
Yes.
Combination of some wood over the door. Okay,
Right.
Can we move down to?
Before you move from that photograph, it looks like the light that's over the door. The earlier photograph was on the side and it's been relocated to being over the door. Is that correct? Is that correct, Inspector? There's
Hogan?
light to the side of the door on photograph 8, and it looks like that light has been moved to directly, and that door is locked at the same time, correct? There's a padlock on it, and then there's a light next to the door, maybe 7 or 8 feet high. And exhibit 9, it would appear that that light has been moved. Is that correct? And let's look at exhibit 9.
I want to give Mr. Tennant an opportunity to finish his thought, please, so we can get through that.
Yes. Thank you. And Mr. Pincus, for the record, yes, I've noted that as well. Ms. Curley, can you move down to the next exhibit? We're still focusing, Inspector Hogan, on the facade. What does Exhibit 10 show you there for the facade, Inspector Hogan?
Work has begun on the facade.
Okay, and Exhibit number 10? Ms. Curley?
Correct.
The next exhibit? And now, Inspector Hogan, what are you noting there? Reference to the facade.
Yeah, it's the facade work's almost done. A window has been changed in dimension, the first floor window.
Right. And if you know for the record, the overall height of the facade of that building or the front of that building, city,
I wouldn't know offhand, but I could tell you maybe 20 feet.
20 feet, okay. So
Maybe.
is there anything in the 2018 International Building Code that requires permits for facade work?
Yes, actually, anytime you do stucco, siding, any facade work, you're supposed to get a permit. And
Thank you very much.
that's usually so you can check the substrate to make sure whatever you're putting that material over is good to go. So if you're doing siding, stucco, stone work like this, when you're putting it on top of the facade, we require a permit so we can check that like original brick substrate to make sure it's safe for whatever's laminating on it.
And would that purpose of safety mean in the event an adult or a child walk by and it partially falls off, correct?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question for the inspector, if I may. I'm just noticing, we were discussing the electrical box. The earlier picture had a curved wire coming into the electrical box. Now there's no curved wire. There's a wire coming out of a hole, and it looks like there's the box and then two additional holes as if they could accommodate additional electrical boxes. Now I'm surmising these things, but I'm asking in your experience, one, am I correct that the wire that had a bend in it does not appear to have a bend in it? And two, there's two holes that could accommodate additional electric boxes there?
Yeah, I'm not sure what kind of work there. It was definitely work done to the box and going up. As to what those holes are for, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if Mr. Clausen maybe he's looking in the future to make a duplex. I don't know why that second hole would be there. So, I'm not going to speculate.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Washington, you had a question? Mr. Washington, you had a question? He may be muted.
Okay, I'm sorry. Thank you. Yes, I want to go back to the electrical box. Because Mr. Costa stated there was no electrical work done on it. But when I look at exhibit number 6, which has the bin. Then I go to exhibit number 8 with the light on the side. I'm gonna go to number 9. The light has moved when the electrical wire is coming out of there. And this is straight conduit going down to the electrical meter. Is there any permits for that to happen?
There's no permits for anything here, so I don't, you know what I mean? I'm not sure exactly what work they did or what permits they would have needed, but I know that they do not have any permits.
Can I speak on
I'm gonna redirect my question then.
Yeah, redirect to Mr. Cost. Yeah.
Mr. Cost. I just showed you what I was looking at. Could you tell me how that changed from number 6 with the bend in the wire to a straight conduit?
I got you.
And with the light and the other wires coming out over top of the door.
All right, the black wire that's on a diagonal, that's Comcast. That's their Wi-Fi wire that's coming down.
But I'm talking about the conduit on the side of your house, on the extreme left side of your house.
That was just a plastic, it's like PVC. that went over top of the wire.
But you disconnected the bent wire to put the conduit over it,
No, Pico.
which was number 7, which was photo number 7. You couldn't stick a conduit over there.
Pico disconnected the wire. They had asked for a weatherhead to be installed. You don't need a permit to put a weatherhead on. It's just a plastic case that you just stick on top of it. I just slid it over top of the wire.
With the
And-
bend in it, with the bend in it. You was able to stick it over top of the wire with that large bend in it.
They disconnected the service from up top from the street. They disconnected it, they cut it. And then I put the casing over, I believe that's what you call in the conduit, the plastic case that's over
Yes,
top of
yes,
the wire.
yes.
I put that on there.
Okay, what about moving the lamp that was on the right side of your property, putting it over top of the door with what looks like a camera?
Yeah, I installed the camera and I moved the light. I don't know, why would I need a permit for putting a light in
Then you
cameras?
move the electric, you move the electric?
They plug in.
They plug in from where you took it off of the wall and put in the I'm gonna call it fake facade. When you took it out of that wall, we took it out of
The
that
wire-
wall.
Well, the light
just plugged it
is
in.
solar. The light is solar, but the camera wire, it plugs into a regular outlet. That's what that black wire is. I taped it so that it wouldn't get damaged in the rain. And I brought it in through over top of the door.
And I also
That black wire that's right underneath the light, that's the camera wire.
so nothing had to be moved inside the property, even where you had those 2 holes on the side in number 11. You have 2 holes and you have the wire that's going into your house, going in through that hole where there wasn't one there before.
I have to see what you're talking about. What are you talking about? The camera and the
Could you put
No.
back up?
Yeah, number 11 shows the hose that's running from the meter, electric meter to the
Yes.
interior.
Yes, that's number 11. But when you look at number, let's say,
it's not showing on my.
number 7, there's no hole there.
Yeah, she has to bring it. Miss Curley has to bring it up.
See, there's no hole next to it on number 7. There's no opening on number
Okay,
7.
I'm looking at number 7 now. What are you asking me?
I was asking about the 2 holes that's on number 10 that you have the wire going through into your property.
Before you move on number 7, it shows that a line going from the meter penetrating the wall on the left of the meter.
Yes, yes.
Now move to number 11, please, Miss Curley. Yes, oops. Could you expand that, Miss Curley? Then down a bit. Yes, right here.
Now you see those 2 holes there, and the wire is not on the left anymore. It's not on the left anymore. It's on the right.
I'm confused. In the first picture you showed me, there was stuff blocking the meter. Well, not blocking the meter entirely, but there was stuff on the porch. So you just can't see the holes.
I can see that wall on number 6, on number 5, and on number 4.
Well,
I
the
can see
picture you
the
just showed
wall.
me previous to this picture right here that's on the screen now, it was blocked.
Okay, but Mr. Cost, how do you explain the wire going from the meter to the interior of the property on the right side of the meter?
What's wrong with it? I don't understand.
I'm asking you, how do you explain? Who did that? Did you do that?
No, that's just how the Pico wire's hooked up.
But it wasn't there before.
Where is it not there? I don't understand.
There's no, on the previous photos of the facade that we saw, there's no clean hole bored into the wall. It was all red brick, which is
In the
very
previous
different.
photo before this one, there's stuff sitting in front of it. You can't
I'm
see
not-
any.
Well, okay, we aren't gonna quibble over, I think we're having we see on photo 6, you can clearly see that, and Ms. Curley, please, keep them up until we ask them to put them down.
Okay, I just, you know, I just want to make sure that there's time for the other matters.
And Mr.
Oh, we
Chair,
got plenty of time.
When
We
you're
got
done,
plenty of
Mr. Chair, I do have a question for
Yeah.
Mr. Host. Thank
If
you.
you go to,
I'm
Mr. Curley, if you go to,
Mr. Chair, I'm comparing January the 28th, 21 photo with, this will be October, no, here we go. This would be March the 24th, 23 photo. Those are two I'm comparing.
okay,
This photo right here on the screen right now, it's being blocked by, I got it's a fireplace with a tarp over it. You can't see the holes.
No. If you go look at number 11, when you look at number 11, where the fake facade is, that's where it ends at the top of the box of the meter. You look at here, it's just wide open, nothing blocking. I can see, you can see where it's cut out at.
yeah, I think what he's referencing is that at the number 11, at the very bottom of the meter, there are two very clean cut boreholes there, which we can't see from this photo. He's actually correct about that. But where we are differing with him is the creation of those two holes had to be done by someone, and the electric meter is showing wires, a wire, a service line going from the bottom of the meter into the house. And the question is, who did that work? I think that's what we were trying to understand.
Yes, and then no more further questions.
Okay, so the
Mr.
issue with
Chair.
moving of the service wire from whatever angle that it was going to a different angle?
That,
I'm not, because the picture that's on the screen right now, so you're saying the wire going, where was it going previously? You're saying it was going down instead of to the right?
no, I'm saying that well, there was a question regarding whether the wire, the drops, the power supply line is curved. And of course, we asked you about that, and you said that Pico cut the service and you put a PVC conduit over it. The other thing that I made a mistake about, and I'll put that on the record, I'm looking at the meter and it appears that white line next to the box on the left is the supply line, but it isn't. That's something else. If you go to photo 10 and 11, that's where we see the supply line going into the building. Yeah, when you, I think it's 11, if you go to 11. Yes. And you focus in on, that's where you see the line going into the building. Those two holes weren't there in 10.
And 10.
Correct. When you look at number 10, it's very clear that those two holes aren't there.
Correct.
Oh, this is 10.
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, I understand now. You was looking at the wrong picture.
Okay.
Or I was picture. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So that's the issue, the way that the
That was
wire
one of the
moving?
issues. Yes, that was one of the issues. Who
Okay.
did the work? And are you doing the work?
I don't mess with electrical, but whatever
Did elec-
Pico needed
No,
done.
Pico is not going to do that. Did the electrician do that?
No,
work?
no. I know Pico didn't move that wire, but
Who
when
moved the
Pico
wire?
came, they cut
That's the
everything.
question. That's the question. Who installed the supply into the building? Who ran the wire into the
Line
building?
line was already there. It being moved from left to right. I had hired somebody a while ago. I don't remember, but
Okay, so you hired an electrician to do it.
to move a wire from left to right, I didn't add any electrical, and I didn't.
But no.
change-
You just answered my question. You said you hired someone. So that's the answer to the question. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Mr.
All right.
Chair.
Yes.
So I need a permit to
Mr.
have somebody move a
Yes, for
service
that you
wire
do.
from
Yes.
left to right.
Yes.
Yeah, when you
Yes.
touch the Pico service box in lines, yes.
Mr. Tennant, you have a question?
Yeah, I do. Mr. Cost, the facade work on the building, who did the facade work?
I did it.
You did that. And did you know that the International Building Code 2018 requires facade work or siding? It requires a permit for siding or any kind of facade work?
I did not know that.
Okay, so that requires a permit. So that's work that we're seeing here, evidence, work that was done without a permit as required.
Okay, well, I'll take accountability for that then. Putting
Okay.
the fake bricks on the front, I didn't know that there was a permit required for that. What is the code for that?
It's coming out of the 2018 International Building Code.
Okay.
Mr. Pincus, you had a question before we move on?
Perhaps I'm wrong and maybe I don't know whether I need to be corrected, but my experience from many years ago when I installed a new electrical service to my house was that anything that came out of the box on the wall, a meter, required a permit that the electrician had to obtain from the city. You can't do anything that relates to the service into your property without a permit. I don't believe that particular requirement has changed.
I can get the documents.
Mr. Pincus, it has not changed. And in addition to that, it needs a third-party examiner inspector to come out and to verify the work was done even before L&I completes the finalization of the permit. So you are correct.
When the guy moved the wire, it was Pico said something, an underwriter. I don't know exactly what his job entails, but he did that and Pico came back out and they turned the service back on.
Okay.
Whatever way he moved it from the left to the right, but it wasn't a new service that was installed. All he did was readjust the wires that were already there. Well, the one wire, the service wire, the 100-amp wire that was there, he just moved it.
Okay.
I believe it was going up and down and he moved it to the right side.
Okay. Mr. Costa, your current location where you're broadcasting from, is that at this address?
Correct.
Okay, thank you. All right, well, let's go. Ms. Curley, you have any final argument before we vote on this?
You know, just very briefly, I just want to make clear that the city's exhibits are admitted. I think the pictures tell everything that the board needs to see about the work that was done here. And, you know, maybe this wasn't clear, but this is an unsafe property. And so, you know, any of this work would require a make safe permit prior to any additional permits being completed. So everything that we've seen, the progression of this building, including the facade, the movement of the electrical, the porch work, all of that would have required a permit. And the department wouldn't have ever issued that permit until the make safe was completed. Inspector Hogan's testimony about the department's records were clear. Mr. Kost's own inability to provide any evidence to the contrary today, as it is his burden to come to this hearing and present evidence, as he does carry the burden of persuasion. He failed to do so at any point and even contradicted himself about who did what work and what work was done. I think that is substantial to create a record to affirm the city's decision.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Costa, anything you want to add before we vote?
I didn't contradict myself about anything. And I didn't know my property putting the fake bricks on the front. How does that make it unsafe? I don't understand that.
Anything else you want to add?
It's private property. If I mean, nothing can fall off or hurt anybody unless they have a right to be here and the stuff was put on correctly. So I don't agree with being done inaccurately, but if I need a permit to put the stuff on there, then I accept responsibility for putting the fake bricks on the front. Okay. And as far as electrical, that guy he had to have some type of licensing. I don't know if he got a permit or not. I don't know all the details about everything, but it was good enough for Pico. But if it's not good enough for you guys, then we'll go from there for him moving a wire from, I don't know, a couple inches. So.
Okay, thank you very
And
much.
all the stuff out front is not proof of anything. That stuff was not mine. With the cinder blocks, that is a truck engine. With the piece of, I'm looking at the screenshots that I took, the piece of green plywood with the tarp around it, that's a trailer. And they put that green plywood on top to hold down the tarp. And those bags are not mine. They belong to 2529. So there was no major construction done or any construction done really besides me putting up the fake bricks or I don't know the exact name of what they're called. I guess ledger panels.
Okay, thank you very much. We will poll the board on HA-2022-002461, 2531 North Colorado Street, Harold Cost, City affirmed.
City affirmed.
City affirmed.
City affirmed.
City affirmed.
City affirmed.
Thank you very much. Mr. Cost, the vote is unanimous, city affirmed, which means you've lost your appeal. You may appeal our decision. If you need information as to how to do that, you should check with the administrator. Their phone number is on that letter that you received inviting you to this meeting. Thank you very much for your cooperation and your time. Have a good afternoon.
The city is saying that they aren't able to serve me. This place is abandoned.
Sir, that matter is not, that matter is a separate matter. That's a matter of common pleas court, which you have a hearing date they told you about. So
Oh,
our
that's
case today,
okay.
If
our
Mr.
case
Wade
today
wants
has
to
been
put,
resolved.
I just wanted to volunteer. If Mr. Wade wanted to put myself in a breakout room, I can speak to him about that matter.
Mr. Costa, you willing to do that?
How do I do that?
You will get a notification on your screen inviting you to a breakout room.
Oh, okay. Yep, it just popped up.
Okay,
right.
thank you. Ms. Curley, thank you.
See you guys.
Could I please be added to that breakout room as well?
Mr. Wade, add Ms. Reinhardt to that
Thank you.
breakout room.
Case number 11.
Oh, Mr. Wade, did you add Ms. Reinhardt to the breakout room?
Yes, I did. I sent it to her.
Okay. All right. We having a few glitches today. Oh, there she is. Okay. What's
Case-
next?
Case number 11, hearing appeal number HA 2022-003451, 307 East Allegheny. Eric Diaz. Service was made.
Okay, thank you.
It's Christopher Johnson for the city of Philadelphia. I don't believe Mr. Diaz has appeared.
Okay. Mr. Eric Diaz. Mr. Diaz is also an attorney. Is that the same person who's also listed as an attorney for this matter, Mr. Johnson?
That's correct. And he did email me about the case after I reached out to him last week. He emailed me yesterday and today. He said he was traveling back to the city. I don't think he requested a continuance from the board. The city is going to ask for it to be marked as city firm failed to appear.
Okay. Mr. Wade, do you have any information regarding a continuance request and also confirm that service was made?
Service was made and no correspondence.
Okay, thank you. What time do we have, Mr. Pincus?
3:24 p.m.
3:24 p.m. Okay, thank you very much. We will poll the board on HA-22-003451, 307 East Allegheny Avenue, Eric Diaz. City affirmed non-appearance.
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 Thank you very much. That matter is resolved. Okay, Mr. Wade, where we go?
This brings us down to matters of 18 and 19, both of which have a Mandarin interpreter, I believe, on the line.
Okay, let's call the case in. We'll call the interpreter first.
Yes, is there a Mandarin interpreter?
Okay, Mr. Wade, what do we need to do with the office to see if that interpreter is going to join us? Is Maggie Gao, is that possibly the Mandarin
I
interpreter?
believe that's the appellant.
That's the appellant?
I believe so.
Okay, then we have a Julia Long LaFrance.
That's who I thought may be the interpreter.
Hello, yeah, I think it's mine. Chinese interpreter, Mandarin.
Yeah, yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, we're trying to find the interpreter. We need to
Thank
get the
you.
interpreter. Okay, you're the interpreter, ma'am?
I don't believe she is.
Miss Gao is the appellant.
Okay. No one's responding to the interpreter.
I'm asking Miss LaFrance to unmute. I believe she is the interpreter.
Okay.
Hello, I am not the interpreter. I am a observing intern.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, let's do this. Ms. Gao, we have to find the interpreter. And so we ask your indulgence. And while we do that, in the meantime, we're going to hear some other cases and try to find the interpreter to help with your matter, okay? So Mr. Wade, if you would call another matter and in the meantime, and ask someone in the office to see what happened to the interpreter.
I will.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chair, would case number 18 and 19, would Ms. Gao be part of case number 19? Because there's only one name down on that one.
Well, I don't know.
So I would be curious whether that would be a non-appearance.
Okay. Mr. Wade, can you help us with that?
I think it would be best to wait for the interpreter, so.
Well, no, I'm asking, we don't know if the same appellant is for both of them.
Given the proximity of the addresses and the same first name, I would think that there's some sort of relation
Connection?
between both matters, and
Okay.
I'd feel more comfortable waiting for the interpreter.
Okay,
to
do we
speak
have
on
another
both.
case we can go to?
Yes. Case number 20, hearing appeal number HA 2022-003236, 2527 North 24th Street, Deborah McLean.
Okay, Deborah McLean, and who's representing the city?
Good afternoon, Michelle Reinhardt for the city of Philadelphia.
Good afternoon, Ms. Reinhardt. Ms. McLean?
Yes.
Okay, I'm Kenneth Woodson, board chair. Would you raise your right hand, ma'am, so you may be sworn? Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you give today be the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. You can place your hand down. Ms. Reinhardt, do you have a witness today?
Yes, Inspector Battle is the witness.
Okay, Inspector Battle, please unmute and present yourself. Okay.
Inspector Battle.
Good afternoon. Would you raise your right hand so that you may be sworn? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give today be the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you very much. Place your hand down. Okay, Ms. Reinhardt, please proceed.
Thank you. I am just opening the documents, and I apologize. I am also closing another program in order to try to prevent any dropped calls. We are here for property maintenance violations regarding 2527 North 24th Street. To start, Inspector Battle, can you please introduce yourself to the board?
I'm Inspector Battle with the Philadelphia License and Inspections, working out of the North District Office.
And how long have you been with license and inspections?
I've been with License and Inspections for a little over a year now.
What type of cases do you typically investigate?
Residential properties, as well as businesses and mixed-use properties for property maintenance, as well as fire code violations.
Are you familiar with 2527 North 24th Street?
Yes, I am.
Have you been to the property?
Yes, I have been to the property and was granted entry by the tenant at the time.
Okay, I would like to share my screen with the board's permission.
Sure, please.
Are you able to see what has been previously marked Exhibit A?
Not on the screen, it's just your name right now. There we go. Yes, I can see it now.
Okay. I am scrolling down to what has been previously marked City Exhibit A, Notice of Violation and Order to Correct, dated July 21st, 2022. Do you recognize this document?
I do.
What is it?
It is the first notice of violation that's usually issued after the first inspection takes place, to let the owners know that there were violations found.
Okay, and you indicated that there was a tenant that let you into this property?
That is correct.
Okay. I'm scrolling down. Let me know if you need anything zoomed in further, but can you tell us what violations you found at this address?
Yes. At the time, there were bars on the windows, so that is what that first violation was, with a padlock. And that there was, the tenant stated that she did not have a key to the bars that were on the interior of the property.
And that created an emergency escape access issue?
Correct. That's what that violation notes.
What else did you find?
There were no smoke or CO2 detectors in the property. The next violation is for, there was a large hole cut into the ceiling of the kitchen due to some type of leak that was on the second floor of the property. And then that next violation for the windows is, you'll see in a couple of the pictures, there was like 2x4s holding shut 2 of the windows on the first floor and on the second floor.
Okay. I am scrolling down to what has been previously marked Exhibit B. And zooming out to see it better. Do you recognize this photograph?
Yes, that would be the first floor living room window where the bars were that are locked, that had the locks on them.
Did you take these photographs?
Yes, I did. And if you see, my name is there on the, as a timestamp. However, the GPS from the phone sometimes picks up the next closest street. That's why that street name is on there. However, this is the property in question.
Okay. Moving to photograph 2, what are we looking at?
That is the padlock that was on that window in that first floor living room.
Moving to photograph 3.
This is the hole that was cut in the, I'm sorry, that is the dining room to the, I believe that's the right side of the property, where it looks like a repair was taking place and it had not been completed.
Moving to photograph 4.
That's the basement door that has a padlock on it. I'm not sure if it was just the owner locked it or if it was just padlocked because they didn't want anybody in there. Sometimes owners do that. They don't give access to the basement.
And it's on release. Ms. McLean, please don't speak while
Oh, I'm
testimony.
so sorry. I apologize.
Inspector, can you tell us what we're looking at in photograph 5?
That is the kitchen window with the bar, padlock bars on there.
And photograph 6?
This is the kitchen ceiling that the tenants, where a leak was occurring there. And that's just a picture of the ceiling where there is the water damaged ceiling.
I believe you just said that there was a leak occurring there. Was it your opinion that there was an ongoing leak or that there was evidence of a recent leak?
There is evidence of a recent leak. At the time of inspection, while I was there, no, there was not actual water dripping. It was a clear, dry day, so there was no active leak happening at the time.
So do you have an opinion one way or another whether the leak was already fixed before?
I cannot say for sure whether it has been repaired or not. From my experience and my training, that it looks like at one point someone painted over a leak that was there. So, and like I said, at the time, it was not currently leaking. However, the tenant stated that it was, but while I was there, there was no active leak.
And you said that you saw recent damage. You
Yes.
observed the recent damage. Okay.
Yes, and that's why the picture was taken.
Okay. Moving on to the next photograph. What is this?
That is an outlet in one of the rooms. I'm not sure if that's a bedroom or one of the common areas. However, it is missing the cover over the socket.
And the next photograph?
This is the front bedroom with the board, the 2x4 holding the window shut because it did not have a lock. And it was the tenant said that it slides down. So she put the 2x4s in there to hold it shut.
And the next photograph?
The same, there is the 2x4s holding the windows shut because they don't stay up or lock.
Moving to Exhibit C. I'm showing you another collection of photographs. This appears to be dated June 13th, 2023. Did you take this photograph?
Yes, I did.
What does this show?
This is the front door. This is the re-inspection that occurs prior to the hearing today. So this is the front door showing that I did arrive at the property on that date to perform a re-inspection to see if any of those violations have been resolved.
And what did you find?
I was not able to gain entry, and it looked as if no one was occupying the property anymore. There was some mail in the door, and some of the curtains were removed.
Okay. Moving on to the second photograph, what does this show?
That is the front window where that bar, where the bars were on the window. And as you can see, I took the photograph because the 2x4 is still there. However, the bars have been removed.
Okay, and what is the third photograph in Exhibit C?
That's the second floor window where that bar 2x4 was holding the window shut. And it's still a 2x4 holding that window shut.
So at this point, what is the status of the violations? Are they complied, uncomplied?
They are still uncomplied due to me not being able to gain entry into the property.
And fair to say, it sounded like you were able to observe that some of the violations are still present?
Correct.
Okay, I have no further questions.
Thank you. Ms. McLean, do you have any questions of the Inspector Battle? Ms. McLean,
Yes.
do you have any questions of Inspector Battle based on her testimony?
Well, for one, a lot of the damages
Ms.
in the
McLean,
house.
Ms. McLean, what I'm asking is that, do you have any cross-examination or questions? If you don't, that's fine. And you can tell us your understanding of situations in a moment, but for now, we just need to know if you have any questions.
Well, when she came out to the house to do a re-inspection, I live right next door. I live in.
Ms. McLean, but you have to ask a question, Ms. McLean. What is the question?
I just was wondering if it appeared that nobody lived in there. If I'm right next door, she could have rung the doorbell if she wanted access in there to look at everything.
Okay. Inspector Battle, what's your response to contact with the owner?
So
if I may actually, that's a legal issue. The inspector does not have the duty to inform the owner and track them down. It's the owner's responsibility to make sure that the violations are corrected and that they inform L&I and request a reinspection, and none of that occurred here.
Okay, I still want to know if there was communications between Inspector Battle and Ms. McLean in terms of inspection. Ms. Battle, was there any contact at all?
Not at all. And we always leave our business card, and I do try to reach out to the owner. However, I did not have any current contact information for the owner, and did not know she lived next door to the property.
Okay,
And
thank
she
you.
didn't reach out to me to ask for a reinspection or anything. The appeal was just filed.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Reinhardt, any additional witnesses?
No additional witnesses.
Okay, Ms. McLean, share with
yes.
us your understanding of the facts. Where are things now?
Okay, as far as me having contact with the inspector, I actually have a ring, and I saw her when she came up on the porch and looked at the windows, and she looked at the house, and it appeared that she was on the phone. But I am disabled, so I'm upstairs in the bedroom, and I could not get downstairs to see who she was or whatever. And when I did get down there was no card or anything, because I was questioning. It looked like she had a badge, but I didn't know who it was, and I could not see who it was. So I was not able to make contact. What I did do was when I got the letter about the hearing, I did call that number. And I was asking, well, what should I do? And they said, well, if you've done some of the violation, if you fixed it, then you could just withdraw the appeal. But they were saying that I probably should go and explain really what's going on. A lot of the damages to the house was done by the tenant because I had given her an eviction notice. I gave her the eviction notice on July the 1st. And right after that, that's when all of these violations came out. Now, if I can explain, the house had bars all the way through it because the house had been broken in 3 times. She did have a lock, the key to match the locks, because I had a locksmith come in and make all the keys to all the locks in the house fit one key. The lock that was on that front window is not one of my locks. My locks have red lines through them. That's something that she put up there, I guess, to make it one of the violations. But what I did have my contractor go in, take that front bar off the window. And we had to break it with a hammer because it wasn't my lock. It was something that she put up there. The second floor, the 3 windows, there were bars on all 3 of those windows. I have no idea where they are. She took them off, and the windows, she put those boards and stuff in the window. I asked her, since I'm right next door, I'm not a slumlord, I ask questions. Is this something need to be done? Oh no, everything is fine. Now, as far as the dining room, the hole in the ceiling, I had pictures where the contractor came in and he left the hole open. He said to make sure no more leaks. And it's a good thing because 2 more little pin leaks was in it. And so he fixed them. And I've got pictures where he put the wall back up by the beginning of August.
Do
So
you
the
have
wall,
those photos? Did you submit those photos in your evidence packet?
I didn't know I was supposed to do all of that. This is why I called. I have them on my phone, but this is why I called when I received the letter about this hearing. So I didn't submit anything.
Well, now you submitted the appeal for the hearing, correct?
Yes,
So when you submit the request for the hearing, it's important that you submit all the evidence that you have to support your position. So
I
that
did
we can
not.
have something. Because otherwise we have no way to know whether you actually have done it or not. Okay.
I understand, but when I went to the appeal, I got somebody to take me down there. I was in a wheelchair. When I went in, where you go to L&I is in the basement. They didn't take me down there. They let me sit on the first floor, and somebody came up, and I explained to her that a lot of the things that I was being charged with was false. I have been a foster parent for 20 years. So I know there's certain things before you even rent. So everything I did in my home, I did over there. Over there right now is 6, 7 smoke detectors. There was 4 up. And then I called the city and had them put their 3 up.
Okay.
But there was smoke detectors in the house because when she would be in the kitchen cooking and she was burning something, the smoke detector, I could hear it in my house. Cause
Okay.
the walls are, so, I mean, I do have pictures showing it's a carbon monoxide and a smoke detector in the basement. They've been there. It was
Okay.
a smoke detector in the kitchen. I mean, all these violations with the boards and the windows, that's stuff that she did. The front window, it's a board in there now. But if you look at the picture when the inspector came out, her thing was, it was bars on the window. She broke the front window when she had to move. The court said she had to be out by February the 1st.
Okay. All right, thank you. I have to have a question from Inspector Battle. Inspector Battle, did you attempt to operate any of the windows that had the boards in them?
Yes, typically when I do perform those inspections and a tenant complains about a window not locking or not staying open, I do have them operate the window while I'm there. And when she pulled up the window, it did not stay shut. It did not stay open. It slid back down.
When she removed the board?
Yes.
Okay. All right, thank you. Anything else, Ms. McLean?
Well, like I said, I am a senior and I'm disabled. I do have people, like tomorrow, the contractor will be coming and I am putting windows in, the windows will be fixed. But for almost a year, this tenant was in there and not paying rent. She also left me bills that she
Okay,
did
Ms.
not pay.
McLean, but those things, although they're important, keep in mind, those things are very important. I'm not diminishing those, but they aren't relevant to the issue of the appeal. And so we just want to stay focused on the appeal.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I do have one question for you is, do you own other rental property in Philadelphia?
Just the house that I'm in.
That the house you're in or the house next door?
Yeah. The house that I am in and the house next door. They're all on one big porch.
Okay, all right.
Side by side.
Okay, all right, thank you. Ms. Reinhardt, do you have anything else?
Yes, briefly. Ms. McLean, you testified a moment ago about how you read the notice of violation carefully and filed the administrative appeal for this hearing. Did you see that the inspector's contact information was on that notice as well?
On the appeal notice?
No, on the notice of violation.
I did see that it did say it was North Central. Actually, I did call there when I first got the notice. But the only thing they said was, I think that I had 60 days to fix everything. And I was saying, but a lot of the stuff, like I said, is stuff that she did herself. And I just fixed what I could because she was still in the house and I knew we was going to court for her to leave. Now, once she left, I have everything to put new floors down. I've already had a measure for windows, but I just didn't want to do it while she was in there because she was damaging things that I fixed.
If I can ask you to answer just the question that I'm asking.
I'm sorry.
Have you spoken to Inspector Battle since February when you said that the tenant moved out?
No.
No further questions.
Okay, thank you. All righty. Ms. McLean, when do you expect to have all this work done?
Well, I have some of the materials, but I have to still pay people, the contractor, to come in. I get one check a month.
Ms. McLean,
Do all of that.
Ms. McLean?
Yes.
That is not the answer to my question. I'm just trying to ask you, what's your plan? What's the schedule that you have to get the work done?
At least by the end of the year.
Oh, in 6 months?
Yes.
Okay. All righty. Anything from anyone else?
I have
Okay.
brief closing.
Yes. But, oh, I'm sorry, Ms. Reiner, just before you do that, I just want to ask one, Mr. McLean, the items that are on the inspection report are items that you acknowledge were defects in the property, correct?
Yes.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Just
Ms.
one
Reinhardt?
more question, Mr. Chair. Just one more
Yes.
question.
Yeah.
Ms. McLean, are you the only one whose name is on the property?
No, my son's name is on there also.
So you're co-owner?
Yes.
No more questions, Mr. Chair.
I have a question, Ms. McLean. You said it'll take you till the end of the year to complete work. Some of the work, it sounds like that you described, like floors, are things that weren't in the violations that were originally written back in whatever it was, July of 20, I'm sorry. Whenever they were written, July of 2022. Is it possible that within the next 90 days, you can comply those violations that Ms. Battle wrote when she inspected the property and get it re-inspected?
Okay, I like I say, I've taken all the bars off the windows already. The smoke detectors, they were up on the walls. I noticed that those pictures weren't taken, but some of the smoke detectors, they had removed the batteries, except for the one at the kitchen. They kept that one working, but
Well,
the
I
detectors was
guess
on the wall.
Instead of just going through it, the question is, within 90 days, do you think you will have the ability? And it sounds like some of the things you've already done. So will you be able within 90 days to have corrected the items that were listed in the violation? It sounds like you plan to do more work than was in the violations, but will you be able to correct the violations that were issued, the ones that haven't already been attended to?
Yes. In 90 days?
Yes.
Yes.
3 months. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. All right, if there's nothing else, Ms. Reinhardt, do you have any closing?
Okay,
Briefly.
excuse me. Sorry, is someone let me go
Ma'am?
to the playout now?
No, not yet, okay? The administrator will call you. Someone will call you. Just sit tight for a moment, okay? Just for a moment. Mr. Wade, if you or Mr. Marrero could check in with Ms. Maggie Gow, please, while we finish this up. Okay, Ms. Reinhardt?
Thank you. Just briefly, the testimony established that Ms. McLean is the owner. She was aware of the violations at the time that they were occurring. So she's legally responsible for the property regardless of who it is that may or may not cause the violations. Again, there was also testimony from the inspector that the tenant said that it was the owner who created certain situations. So there's agreement that the violations existed. Testimony has established that the tenant moved out in February, and the majority of the violations have not been complied, and Inspector Battle has not been contacted in order to perform an inspection of the property. So I would ask, due to the length of time that has already gone by and the agreement regarding the status of the violations themselves at the time that the notice of violation was written, that you vote city affirmed.
Yeah, thank you very much. Okay.
Wow.
We will now pull the board regarding HA-2022-003236, 2527 North 24th Street, Deborah McLean, city affirmed with a 90-day stay of enforcement.
City affirmed 90-day stay of enforcement.
City affirmed with a 90-day stay of enforcement.
Abstain.
City affirmed with a 90-day stay of enforcement.
City affirmed 90-day stay of enforcement.
Okay, thank you. The majority vote is city affirmed with a 9-day stay of enforcement. Mr. McLean, what that means is that we've affirmed that the city wrote the violations properly and correctly, but they can't take any additional enforcement action against you for 90 days. That gives you an opportunity to complete the repairs that are on that list and for you to call the inspector to get a reinspection.
Okay,
Okay?
all right.
Have a
Thank
good
you.
day then. You're welcome.
You
Have a good
also.
afternoon.
All
Okay,
right.
thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay, what do we have next? Oh, Mr. Wade, what about the interpreter? Any success in that? You're muted, sir.
Interpreter was ordered last Thursday. We've reached out to see where they're at. In the meantime, placed Ms. Gow in a breakout room to briefly go over with the attorney. We have one more case I can call in the interim.
Okay,
And then
so
we
at the
will-
moment, we don't have an interpreter who's prepared to join the meeting.
Not at the moment.
Okay.
If I
thank you.
may, Chairman Woodson, I
Yes.
also do not believe that the inspector on those cases are available. So between the fact at this time, between the fact that we don't have an interpreter, we haven't heard back from the interpreter's office, and we're having an issue with an available inspector on that matter. I'm, out of respect for Ms. Gow's time, I'm thinking maybe it would just make sense to continue at this point.
Okay, all right, let's do this then. Unfortunately, she may not understand that either. She's in the breakout room now, Mr. Wade, with an attorney.
She may be back. Let me check.
Ms. Gow is now in the main room.
I see her face on the screen.
Okay, let's unmute her and we'll just simply continue the matter.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair, are we gonna do it for both 18 and 19?
Let me ask Mr. Rulo. Mr. Rulo, is this the same fact pattern and owners?
They are properties right next door to one another. So it looks like the owner, the first property at 2512 is under the name of two owners, including one that has the same last name as Ms. Gow. The second property does not have an individual on the deed with that last name of Gow. Because we have these interpreter issues, my preference would be to just, under the circumstances, continue both cases so that Ms. Gow can have an understanding. I don't know, for example, maybe the other individual is in the house or next door, and I just want to make sure that we're properly informing.
Okay, let's do this. For purpose of the record, let's resolve 18, and then we will call 19 to see if there's a different individual available to have that discussion, okay? So let's do that one. Appeal number 18 HA 2022-003333, 251 South 3rd Street. In that matter, because we do not have an inspector readily available and we don't have an interpreter available, we're going to continue that matter. Ms. Gow, we don't have an inspector, interpreter, Ms. Gow. So we're going to continue your case. We got to reschedule it.
Can I maybe, I only speak a little bit English. Can I try? So
No. Once you request an interpreter, we have to do that. Legally, we're bound to give you an interpreter. And so we don't want to create a problem later on. So we're going to reschedule that one, okay? Because we don't want anything to happen that you don't clearly and completely understand. That's not fair to you or this case. So
maybe can I just try? Yeah, because
No, ma'am, no. Once we get started, we can't do that because there may be things you did not understand before. So we aren't going to do that. We're going to continue this case. So I apologize for the imposition and the impact on your personal time and schedule, but we can't do that. So we're going to have to continue. And it's the interpreter, plus we lost the inspector that we needed for the case. So two reasons, the inspector and the interpreter. Okay?
Yes, so could you please call one more time, one more on the phone interpreter?
We've tried. We have not had any success, so we have to continue the case.
But how about next time? How about next time if the interpreter not coming? So
Next time we should have an interpreter. We're going to work on making sure that we don't have this problem next time. Okay, my apologies to you. Okay?
Yeah, maybe I just say few sentences. Can I try I can.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. We aren't going to do that. We can't do that. Legally, we can't do that. So my apologies. So let's move on to number 19. Mr. Wade, would you call that case in also, please?
Case number 19, hearing appeal number HA 2022-003334, 2510 South Third Street, Yang Ding Yang.
Okay, who's here representing that matter? Young.
Yeah,
Ding,
it's my,
Yang.
it's my husband.
Is he, where is he? Does he need an interpreter also?
He's my husband. Can we do the both together? Maybe one I can present.
Okay, we're gonna do this then. We're gonna continue both matters. We're gonna continue that one as well. For the,
So one is a hearing day.
they will contact you to give you a new hearing date. I don't have it in front of me now. They will contact you with the hearing date. Okay? So we need, please note, Mr. Wade, that we need an interpreter for both cases.
Yes.
Oh, can I call my son maybe? Because I was thinking today is 1:05, you know. So my son waiting 3 hours, he left. So can I call my son? Maybe he can translate?
No, we have to have an official interpreter. Family can't do that. So that won't work. Okay? So thank you very much, and please have a good afternoon. We have to move on to some other cases. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Wade, where do we next?
Our final case for the day is case number 22, hearing appeal number HA 2022-003450, 5137 North Sydenham Street, Wayne Evans.
Okay, who's representing the city?
Hi, it's Christopher Johnson for the city of Philadelphia.
Okay, Mr. Wayne B. Evans. Is Mr. Evans present? I see someone with Wayne's iPad who's muted. Okay, can we unmute Mr. Wayne, please? Okay.
I'm here.
Okay, sir, would you put your name on the record, then we'll swear you in. Give us your name, your full name, please.
Oh, Wayne B. Evans.
Thank you. Do you swear or affirm the testimony that you give today be the truth to help you God?
Yes.
Okay, you place your hand down. Mr. Evans, before we start though, who's the owner of the property in question?
I am.
Is there anyone else's name on the deed?
No.
Just yours? Okay. All right, thank you. And who's representing the city?
Christopher Johnson for the city of Philadelphia.
Mr. Johnson, do you have a witness for this?
Yes, I'm going to call one witness, Inspector Aisha Battle.
Okay. Ms. Battle, would you raise your right hand, please, so you may be sworn? Do you swear or affirm the testimony you give today be the truth to help you God?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. You can place your hand down. All righty, Mr. Johnson, please proceed.
Ms. Battle, can you please tell us where you're employed?
City of Philadelphia, Department of License and Inspections.
And what is your position with the city?
I am a code enforcement inspector.
Are you familiar with the property at 5137 North Sydenham Street?
Yes, I am.
And how did you become familiar with that property?
A complaint. I was responding to a complaint of trash in the rear.
And with the board's permission, I'd like to share my screen.
Yes, please.
When you proceeded to the property, did you issue a site violation notice?
Yes, I did.
Excuse me.
Can you see the exhibit?
Yes.
I'm showing what's marked as City Exhibit C1. Is this a picture that you took at the property?
Yes, it is. That is the rear of the property.
And what did you notice in the rear?
The trash bag and some debris behind that garage door.
And is this a copy of the site violation notice that was issued as a result of your inspection?
Yes, it is.
Is this this is the notice that was sent to Mr. Wayne at page 2? Is that right?
Yes, it is.
And as far as this type of violation, is this something that the city would do a re-inspection to see if it's complied?
No, we do not. Site violations are at the time of inspection. This property was in violation. And in the words, at the time of violation are the most important.
And which provision of the code are you aware was this in violation of?
PM 15-302, exterior sanitation.
Is there anything else that you want to add about that violation?
Just that, like I said in the beginning, when we issue site violation notices, that means that at the time that inspection took place, that property was in violation. So typically, we cannot pull back the violations, we cannot cancel the violations, because during the time of that inspection, your property had sanitation in front of it. And that is why we issue the site violation, so that a reinspection does not happen.
As far as page 4 of the exhibit, what is this document?
That is the fee page. So as you can see, it tells you the amount of the violation, which is when it's issued at the time, it's $150. If I believe it goes on to tell you if an appeal is filed, or if you, no, I think it is if you file an appeal, then the whole fee is due, which is $300 at that time, I believe.
And so have you been back to re-inspect the property?
So typically, we do not do re-inspections on the site violation notices. However, I did go back. There is some debris still there. However, the trash bag is no longer there. But typically, we do not attempt to do re-inspections on these properties, on these type of violations.
And just briefly, did you ever talk to the owner of the property about it?
I did not.
Is this a situation where L&I ever would do investigation about where the trash or the debris would have come from?
We do not, because it's in front of your house. So if a neighbor is throwing the trash outside, if I don't see that happening, it's really nothing I can do. At that point, it's a police matter. But if at the time I come out to visit that property and there is trash and debris on that said property, then that property will receive a site violation notice.
Is it the case that the code requires that the owners keep their property in a certain way?
That is correct. All property owners must keep the front and rear of their properties free of debris and trash.
I'm going to ask that Exhibit C1 be admitted at this time.
Admit it.
And I'm going to stop sharing, and I have no more questions for Inspector Battle.
Mr. Evans, do you have any cross-examination questions for Inspector Battle?
No, she pretty much summed up all the questions or answers I would have had.
Okay.
Basically, with the trash, well, she didn't. She said that she did not.
Okay, just
not,
that,
you know,
I have to cut you
no,
off.
so no.
Okay,
Mhm.
all right. Mr. Johnson, do you have any other witnesses?
I have nothing further.
Okay, thank you. Okay, Mr. Evans, your turn to share with us what you know about what happened.
Okay, I don't know how to share pictures, but when I sent this in, which was July last year, I had called L&I to report my neighbor next door, which is 5135, for throwing trash into the back driveway. He was, I guess he was cleaning out his house for his father. So he was just walking out over to the balcony and throwing trash over. I called L&I, I didn't get a response. But like I said, I don't know how to share pictures, but these are my pictures right here.
Well,
I don't know if you
yes.
can see.
Well, let's do
I
this.
actually submitted them.
Okay, wait a minute. Do you have them on your computer, the photographs?
No, I submitted them in my appeal.
Oh, okay, but if you're going to present them during your appeal, you have to be able to share them either from your photo array in your computer or in your phone. Do you have the ability to share a screen?
I have them
in
on
your
my,
phone?
I may have them on my phone, yes.
Mr. Chair, may I ask a question real quick?
Yes.
We have received some photos.
Right.
I'm curious whether those are his photos.
I did send photos of debris in of my
And I
neighbor.
have some debris there. And then I have some photos with the debris cleaned up and the entire alleyway.
That was it, yes.
Those
Okay.
your pictures?
Yes, they are.
Okay, let's do this. Mr. Johnson, would you bring your picture up again of the rear?
Well,
I want to ask a question about.
I was going to say,
identify his house.
I have the pictures that are attached to the appeal. Would you like me to share those?
Yes, please, if you can do those. Yeah, that'd be good.
I'm actually looking at them. I assume Mr. Washington was as well, because I pulled up the appeal. And I see pictures showing what it looked like when I guess the violation was written. And then I
Also,
guess.
I'm
the
sorry.
appellant-
The evidence is just the picture
I've-
that was submitted as page 1 of C1 is the picture that Ms. Battle took. These are all photographs from Mr. Evans.
Mr. Evans, explain what we're looking at.
This is the driveway in April last year, April to maybe June of last year, which I called L&I to report my neighbor throwing trash over the balcony. The reason I'm presenting this is because I'm stating that the one trash bag that was left behind my door belongs to him. Okay, once I received this notice of this one trash bag, I cleaned out, I removed that one trash bag and cleaned my driveway right the way one of the other pictures actually shows. So
Well, let's go to the next picture that shows the driveway clear. Okay, that's your property?
yes,
Now, all the debris and the previous picture, was that also on your property?
that was next door coming over to my property. It was refrigerators out there, with all kind of stuff out there. Like I said, I called L&I and they never sent anybody back. I'm stating that the one trash bag was part of that debris.
Okay,
Who cleaned up that debris, Mr. Evans?
I don't know who cleaned the debris up. I will suggest, I guess I will infer that the guy next door cleaned it up eventually. Because I did complain because it was, if you can look at the pictures, it was that bad.
Can I stop the
If you
screen
look
share?
at the next pictures, not going that way, go the other way.
The clean one?
Yes, go to the next picture.
Is there a next one?
And
Yeah,
then
right
there's
here.
Still his
another
stuff.
picture with the alleyway.
okay, yeah.
Then there's that picture.
That's
Okay, go
his
up a little bit.
garage. That's his garage, and the garage open with trash, his trash right next to it.
Okay, now where is your house shown in this picture, Mr. Evans?
No, it would be the house that's like, it would be but to the right of that, but you can't see it in that picture.
Okay. All right, scroll down if you could, please. So your testimony is that it's not your trash, it's your neighbor's trash.
It's not my trash. Even being so, I did go behind the house, remove that trash bag. And when she says debris, it might have been an empty cup or something. And I removed that. And I
Okay.
cleaned, and that was it. It took no more than 10 minutes to walk outside and pick a trash bag up and to move it.
Okay, now do you have a photograph of completely clean rear?
Yeah,
Include-
it's one of the other pictures before that.
This one?
Right there. The one, that one. Like I said, the trash,
There's also this one.
quiet.
Okay. Okay,
Can I
Is
stop
it-
the share?
yes, I just want to ask, before you do that, Mr. Johnson, I want to check. Anyone else have any questions regarding the photos themselves? No? Okay, you can stop sharing, Mr. Johnson.
And if it, just to put the board on notice, my computer's running out of battery if I cut out.
Okay. All right, thank you. Anything else from anyone? No? Okay,
I just like one brief statement on behalf of the city.
yes,
Uh,
sir.
This is a case where unfortunately the inspector saw the debris that was called in or the trash that was out there and found it in violation at the time she was there. There's no doubt in the city's mind that it's likely Mr. Evans certainly cleaned up the back, but unfortunately a site violation notice was issued, which, as the inspector testified, is a snapshot in time of what it looked like when she saw it.
Okay, thank you.
Just one
Uh,
question, Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
Inspector Battle, is there any record that he did make this earlier complaint to Elena?
I mean, I can check to see what at the time, what the complaint was that came in and if it was any contact information. Typically, when the complaints come in, they're either anonymous or if the individual making the complaint wants to be contacted, they will say to us in the complaint, please contact prior to inspection. But if they don't do that or leave any kind of telephone number or name, we just respond to the complaint. And if it's a like this situation, if it's a debris situation, we write the site violation notices and then that's it.
Okay,
All right, thank you.
thank you. Mr. Evans, at one side note, they did respond to your complaint. They showed up. Unfortunately, when they showed up, it was at a different point than you were expecting. Because of the volume of complaints, they can't always get there the same day or the next day.
I mean, I understand, but the difference is overwhelming.
Oh,
We're
absolutely.
talking about a driveway full of trash. We talking about one trash bag.
Yeah, absolutely. Understood. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Johnson. If you don't have any final argument, we will then call the vote on this.
Can I request an executive session?
Sure. Okay, thank you. We're gonna go off the record for a moment. Okay, everyone. We were at the point of calling the vote on number 22. That is HA-2022-003450, 5137 North Sydenham Street, Wayne B. Evans. Appeal sustained.
Appeal sustained.
Appeal sustained.
Appeal sustained.
Appeal sustained.
Appeal sustained.
Okay, the appeal sustained majority, unanimous vote. Mr. Evans, you won your appeal. Now, Mr. Evans, one additional piece of information for you that is a word of caution. This board does not have the authority to set aside the fees. You have to go to the
Tax Review Board.
Tax Review Board. Thank you for your help. You have to go to the Tax Review Board to get that fee set aside because of the way that the ordinance is written. So I would recommend that if you have an interest in getting that fee set aside, you need to do that right away. I don't know what the appeal time permits.
And
for
Mr.
that.
Evans, on behalf of the city, I could say that you should reach out to me because it's possible that the city would be willing to take care of that administratively without an appeal to the Tax Review Board. But I think that's something we can talk about offline.
Okay, how can I reach you?
Christopher.johnson@phila.gov.
Christopher.Johnson
Yep.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson, for making that offer.
at phila.gov. Okay. Okay, well, thank you.
Okay,
Was
have a
that,
good-
I got one last question. Was that Christopher.Johnson@phila.gov?
Correct.
Okay,
Is
thank
that
you.
Philip or Philly? It's Philip, correct?
PHILA.
Yes.
Okay, well, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Have a good afternoon, sir.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I believe, Mr. Wade, is that complete our list for today?
Yes,
Okay, one question for you, sir. What was the issue with the interpreter?
the interpreter was ordered and received last Thursday and they just didn't show up. Sherelle's looking into it now.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you all. Unless there's something that